Welcome to the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Jarvis Escott from What's Happening in Birmingham. Today, I have the honor and pleasure. I got Miss Yolanda Flowers. She is running for the office of governor on the Democratic side on the May 24th, 2022 election. We are close to that May 24th deadline. Please come out and vote. I don't think it's deadline yet to register to vote and get signed up and things like that. So, Ms. Flowers, thank you for coming on, first of all. I know you've been busy on the campaign trail, but I want to bring you on and kind of talk more about your campaign. And just first start off, just tell people a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Escott. Thank you so much for having me. A little bit about myself. I am from Birmingham, graduate of Woodlawn High School. So that's my alma mater. I have 3 children. 12 grandchildren, 5 great-grandbabies. And like I said, I'm running for governor. My background as far as profession, I've been an educator for over 20 years. Worked with children with special needs, special ed, as well as because, also served as a speech therapist, assistant, speech language pathologist assistant, but like they have to do it correctly. That's while I lived in Tennessee. Also, I served as a vocational rehabilitation counselor while I lived in Tennessee. Now, and you say I'm mentioning that a lot. It's because I spent most of my years, my adult years, in Tennessee. Moved back here in 2015. Was still in transit back and forth, because my parents had to take care of matters here. But anyway, I'm back and I'm running, and I see the need of education is very bad, deplorable here in this state. And being an educator is one of my concerns. It's one of my passions as well, because I've worked with children and helping them to learn how to read. Okay, so reading and language and learning your vocabulary, that is so important to me. And it's important for our children that they know these things, because they're going to have to know that as they get older, especially if they're going to go to college. So, and that's another thing. That's another issue we can touch on as well. But that's a little bit about me. I'm a musician. I teach music. Piano. I did have some students, but of course I don't have any right now because of the campaign trail. But yeah, I did have several piano students. So yeah.
Okay, now one thing I want to go back to, like we said about education, before we talk about other parts of your platform. What are some things you want to see change here in Alabama when it comes to like K through 12?
Well, for one, that's a concern. We need to bring the test scores up. And my question is, well, what are they learning? And I do know, since I've been back here and I was able to teach in the Birmingham City schools for about 3 years until my husband's health failed. I saw how the teachers would spend so much time trying to do classroom management, as opposed to teaching. We couldn't get a lot of that going on. Well, we know children come and they come from different angles, different backgrounds, different environments. And but also another thing that was in the classrooms of so many children per one teacher. So that's hard. A teacher needs an assistant. Okay, they just have to have it if they want to be effective in teaching. And another thing, going back to the environment, how important the teacher does stage the dynamics of a classroom as well. So there's several things you can look at, music, decluttering, making sure your room is clean, it smells good, aromatherapy, and like I said, and music. But she or he sets the dynamics. And And if we can work with the parents, it's getting them out. They've got this thing talking about parents' choice. Okay.
Mhm.
Parents have always had that choice to be active in the children's life, in the education life, or not, So that is another prevalent thing, So we need it's going to take the whole village to raise our children, or the whole state in this matter. And so all of us need to be on the same accord: parents, teachers, principals, psychologists, all of these things.
Okay, so your platform, I like you had a real catchy tagline. It's called Reconstruct Alabama. And tell me what that means to you, and when the voter, what do you mean by reconstruct?
Well, that came, it's got a more of a spiritual connotation to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the word reconstruct means to create. It really does. We've looked at reforming. Some definitions will say reform, rebuild, or whatever, but that word does mean to create. So I'm saying, let us create an Alabama that has never been. Okay. So you think about, and I also took that from the period of the Reconstruction era.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really before even it started booming and blooming up, So I came up with that slogan back last year in June, May, the last part of May and June, when I decided I'm going to run. And I took the course, the training that I had to take. And that came. And so I was led really by the Spirit of God to go and to look up, to go back to my history and study more on the Reconstruction era. And that's where I found that it was so many African Americans, so many Blacks that held office, in the legislature, office in government. I said, wow. And of course, how that caused a lot of angst here in the South. Still a lot of angst in the South, a lot of hatred, a lot of similarities here. So it's just time. It is time to make Alabama, create Alabama that has never been. So that's what it means.
Okay, so statewide, I want to go back to, just talking about what other pressing challenges do you feel the next governor is going to face these next 4 years?
Well, you have that right. Oh Lord, I don't understand how they come up with the left and the right, the radical right, the radical left, about this anyway. But I know I'm going to be in contention with people who thinks opposingly, especially those who are conservative. Conservatism meaning really, it means you don't want to change. You want to do the same thing. You want that traditional way of doing things. And of course, when I think about that, I think about Einstein. Einstein says it's insanity to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. So that's how our conservative brothers and sisters, they don't want the change. They just don't want the change. And Alabama is dying because of that. They fight against all that they have just to keep things the way that they seem is right. They'll throw God in it. They say they call themselves the evangelicals. But, what are you evangelizing? That's my question. What are you evangelizing? Or are you going to be ecclesiastical? That's me. I'm more ecclesiastical. I'm about the word of God. And if God said that Alabama is dying, I believe it. I believe him. You see, it's so much poverty here, and so many impoverished people because of our legislators not wanting to change. So I know I will be in contention of that, but not as much because I have a greater force, right? And that's who I'm leaning. I'm leaning and depending on him because he is the government. So I'm leaning and depending on God to bring us together. And that's my desire, is for both parties, all parties, to come together. That's the only way we're going to heal Alabama and make her whole. every withhold.
So what do you think that, since we're talking back on the parties, what do you think that the Alabama Democratic Party needs to do to get more voters? Because we've been traditionally a one-party state, mostly in office in the last over 20 years, pretty much.
Yeah. And I'm glad you asked that, because just traveling, going from county to county and meeting with the Democratic parties, the main thing is that I've been hearing, well, we can't get them to come out. They just they're asleep. I'm hearing sleep, of course, and I knew that. We're lackadaisical. We're just, it's just like we don't have any strength. And I know that that's a lie. We just need to just stand up, wake up, because the fight is in full force. Now, we cannot say we are this and you don't show a sign. You don't put forth the effort. So I see that, and mostly they're older people. I desire for more younger people to come forth, but the older people have got to show the young. See, that's another thing. We're not passing the baton. We're not engaging our young people. We're not teaching and training them why Democrat is better. Now, Democrat didn't always be a good party. Okay, back during the Reconstruction era, they were terrible. That was all the South. You had the Southern Democrats. They were for the Ku Klux Klan. But thank God for the shift. It was a new breeze. The wind shifted, and it caused some to say, hold up, hold up. Yes, and some of the Democratic governors long time ago, that all men are created equal. So, and that's when it began to shift, and the scales were falling off of people's eyes, and they said, well, yeah, that is right. So, but the Democratic Party does need to stand up, does need to take the sword and the shield, and they need to stand up and fight, and fight for the rights of everybody. We are about equality and fairness and justice. We need to stand up and do it, and don't just be quiet about it. Make some noise, make a little bit.
So how can people find out more about your campaign and any other things like social media and things like that?
Well, go to my website, Yolanda, that's FOR, governor.org. And that will lead you and guide you right into all of my platform, all of my media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and what's that other one? TikTok. I think I'm doing a little TikTok. I'm not quite sure.
TikTok, there's so many of them change every day. Trust me.
But do that, yeah. That's you, and you will get to know more about my issues that I'm addressing, and I'm always posting on Facebook and Twitter. I'm always posting, and because I believe that the words are spirit and life. You get to know me, and I'm writing from my heart. So, and that's the only way you'll get to know who is running for governor, or if they coincide with your beliefs, or you're hearing my voice. That's the only way I can, say it. It's writing. So, yeah. And we do ask for volunteers. We ask for donations. We ask for everybody. And another thing I want to say about when you go on and you have my email address as well, that it leads you all into the yolandaforgovernor@gmail.com. When you send me an email, I do respond. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on today. I know it's good. We write, in the last few, I guess at the time of this taping, because today is the 4th.
The 4th.
We got literally 19 more days to go. Yeah, 19 more days to go. So I wish you good luck and success. And everybody, please check out the website. Please go on, I would say, to alabamavotes.com .gov to see where your location is, pull up the sample ballot. I think it may not be too late to even register to some cases.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Registration ends the 9th, so they have a few more days.
Yeah. So you all come on, let's turn out the numbers, and whether you go D or R or independent, it's always important. Just come out and vote. So thank you all again. Thank you all for watching this video. Please check out what's happening Birmingham.com for more interviews. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and check out the audio version of this now, Apple Podcasts. Thank you all again. That sounds Alabama. And have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Alabama.
Thank you for watching the What's Happening Birmingham video podcast. Please check out our website, app, or subscribe to our YouTube channel for the latest videos today.